Well, hello guys. So, as you can see, we have someone living with us, and we're gonna share her story. Well, she's gonna share her story, and it's this incredible story. You guys want to stay tuned for that because, yeah, it just literally, as she was saying it, I was literally tearing up in the background. But you might have also noticed we are missing a lot of furniture. We are moving. Where are we moving to? Gotta tune into the next episode. But for now, we are gonna be going up to Cornet Peak here in Queenstown and hear Christy's incredible story.
Hi, my name is Christian Little, and I just feel called to share a bit about my journey with you to hopefully encourage and inspire you along yours. Back in 2016, I was living in New Zealand. I moved over here with my best friend and was racing mountain bikes based out of Wanaka and then adventuring around New Zealand, and was on the north part of the South Island and was actually just out for this adventure overnight, staying in a hut, mountain bike little mission, and was basically biking for several hours up into the mountains, and starting to rain, and it was about to get dark, and we were starting to get to a point where we were going to be at the hut, and it was this really skinny traverse for several miles, and along this skinny little traverse I just hit a rock the wrong way and actually flew off of the side of the mountain. And when I flew off the side of the mountain, we've all fallen off our bikes before, so initially I just thought, oh, I'll eventually stop. But I was actually off of a essential free falling 80-degree pitch, and was barely tapping my head and my toes as I was tomahawking forward off the side of this mountain. And at some point I realized I've been falling for actually a really long time, and this isn't good. And at that moment I actually had a slow-mo motion where everything slowed down and I got a glimpse of what was below, and it was a never-ending drop-off, and I didn't even see the bottom, and I didn't see it leveling out, as well as there was just nothing for me to hit to slow me down. So in that moment I realized that this is it, I'm dying actually. And I've had other near-death experiences, but this one was different. This one I knew I was actually dying, and in that very moment, I actually, realizing I was dying, I actually felt God's power in all things and all around me, and it's hard to put into words, but it literally felt like every roaring waterfall and waves and thunder all at once, and literally I felt God in that moment choose whether I should live or die, and he then just laid me down gently on the side of the mountain. And it really is just impossible, because I was actually free falling essentially down this mountain, and to be then laid down gently, it's just impossible. And in that moment I knew, wow, this is a miracle. God just saved my life. And I looked up to the sky, and I actually just took a moment with him and just had this sense I knew I was alive for a much bigger purpose than just my own life, but for many lives. And that's part of why I'm sharing this with you, is now it's time to actually be a part of encouraging and inspiring other people in their lives through sharing my journey. I did impact at one time during the fall, and in that impact I broke my back in several places, and the worst of that was a basically a compression fracture of 40% in my lumbar spine, and then it just was shrapnel into my spinal cord. So I had a spinal cord injury on top of a broken back and was in serious pain, but I knew I was meant to live. So as I look up, I realized I had fallen so far. It was raining, getting dark, and I actually needed to then still climb back up if I was going to live, because I wasn't going to make it through the night being out there. So even though I broke my back and a spinal cord injury, and you're not supposed to move in that situation, I knew I had to get up there to live. So I start rock climbing on just this grassy tussock, not really stable, but I knew I wasn't gonna fall because I knew I was meant to live. And then I got to my bike, and at that point, my best friend who was with me came back through at this point, and I was able to yell up from where I was at, which was still probably another 20-30 feet from the trail. And then she helped me with my bike to the trail, and then from there I just knew I had to get to help, and we were so remote I wasn't going to be getting help there. So I just used whatever momentum I had left, and by obviously God's just being there with me through that process, and just biked 5K to the hut, and then got heli-vac'd out. It was a really long, hard recovery, and trauma that you go through, both from physical trauma and then, my best friend and others that I thought were going to be there for me in the journey that weren't, that ended up being quite traumatizing as well. And, PTSD and all those things, like you have to go through. But what I would say is I was in bed for 6 months. My nervous system shut down, but every step of the way I actually just was grateful, like that I had use of my legs, and I knew God was right there with me in that brokenness, and that I still was meant to live. And that gave me hope, knowing that I was actually supposed to positively impact other people's lives and share in what I was going through, and this refining faith through fire, that it was going to be a part of encouraging many in the future. And so that gave me hope, and I knew he was in it with me. And so also every step of the way, just instead of spiraling into that dark place, I really just focused on the light, and letting God be with me from within to actually guide me through the hard stuff. I chose not to run, but I chose to let him just actually be there right with me to help me guide through it. So I just want to encourage you, like in the midst of the ups and downs of it all, that this is a ride with purpose, and that for me personally, that adventurous journey with God, for one, he saved my life, not only on the trail that day, but he also saved my life through bringing me through the hardest time in my life when I was in bed and completely broken, to actually bring me through healing and restoration, and to feel wholeheartedly, completely healed and at peace and joy. He loves us, and I just want to encourage you, wherever you're at in your journey, that he's with you and he loves you, and he's for you every step of the way.
I'm Josh from Germany.
Where are you guys right now?
In
New Zealand.
So what are you guys doing?
We're working on a documentary that's called A Ride with Purpose. For the past 2 years, I've been actually working on the filming for it because God has just asked to basically tell a story about His presence in creation and connecting those who may or may not have a relationship with God on a deeper level with Him.
Basically what we're doing is we're having 5 episodes where we shorten it up, because nobody these days watches a 1-hour documentary about something, so we shorten it up. We want to precise and what God is speaking through it, and the whole process of it is we're being led by the Holy Spirit in editing, in filming, in locations we record in wherever we go, what we do is led by the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, and even just what's communicated in the voiceovers and the worship. There's worship that's actually like recorded specifically for the documentary. So we have several people who are a part of it, helping to collaborate. But basically, the purpose is to pierce people's hearts with God's love and just knowing Him.
Well guys, thanks for watching. Please leave a comment below. I'll be sure to link the documentary when it's out in the comments below as well. In the meantime, like this video, subscribe to our channel for more content, and if you do have any specific questions or anything like that, put them in the comments below and I'll be sure to connect you with Christy and Josh, and hope you guys are having a very, very blessed day. Keep us in your prayers, and we appreciate you all.